Alright, good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Thursday, October 12th, 2023, and today was a very important day. Today was CPI day. I'm sure everybody has already took a look at the CPI report, but if you haven't, I will go ahead and drop the CPI report in the chat from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, all items, or I should say the headline CPI, came in at 3.7%. That was much higher than expected. However, if we go down to core CPI, so that would be all items less food and energy, we came in at 4.1%. So what does this mean? Is it important to pay attention to? Well, I say yes, for a few reasons. As we look at the change in monetary policy over the last year or so, in March of 2022, that's when we started the hiking cycle from quantitative easing to quantitative tightening. The current Fed funds rate as of right now is 5.25% to 5.5%, and at the last FOMC meeting, we didn't get a rate hike. We got a pause, but I will make a prediction, okay? And I usually don't like making predictions, but I'll make one now. I think we're going to get at least one more rate hike before the end of the year. I think it's needed. Inflation is becoming very sticky in our society. And as we've been reviewing over the course of the last almost year now, The main category that is the problem, as we all know, is, guess what? Shelter costs. Okay, so shelter came in at 7.2%, very, very high. But, as we know, real estate is the last asset class to correct or reprice in a business cycle. We've been talking about some of the reasons why, and it's mainly due to liquidity. Now, if you think about stocks, equities, and the like, they are very liquid products, right? Stocks are very, very liquid. So they tend to be very, very sensitive to movements in interest rates. So as interest rates go up, traders and investors can quickly reprice those assets for a higher interest rate environment. With real estate, it's not so much. It takes a while for those interest rates to start to work its way through the economy and hit real estate asset prices, right? Because it's a less liquid product. Now, for all of those who are joining right now, I do have to make a quick announcement because it's very important, and it has to do with the topic we are going to be talking about tonight, which is inflation, okay? Which is inflation. It was weird. Anyway, so I published a newsletter. As I've said before, the Behind the Street newsletter is back on track, okay? So if you want to read my thoughts on the real estate market, on equities, on interest rates, where interest rates are headed, type !news, NEWS, in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter. You could feel free to read it. And that's essentially my updated thoughts on the market, okay? Usually the way it works in a business cycle as it relates to real estate, we'll just talk about residential real estate for just a moment. What happens is real estate transactions will start to decline. They'll start to contract. And one of the economic indicators that I like to look at is from the National Association of Realtors. Now, every single month, the National Association of Realtors releases their existing home sales statistics. They just released their statistics for August of 2023, and I'd like to go ahead and drop that spreadsheet in the chat because it has some really amazing visuals. If you don't want to sift through that spreadsheet, just read the newsletter. Read the newsletter I put out. I put in a lot of infographics there, and you've got to read this. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, please do so. But it'll give you a visual representation of when the Federal Reserve started to raise interest rates and when sales transactions started to taper off. It's almost a one-to-one correlation here. So it is of my view, okay, and my opinion, that the cycle in real estate particularly plays out like this. Step 1, interest rates move higher. Step 2, transactions decelerate sharply. Step 3, price declines to adjust for the new interest rate environment. And step 4, deal flow will start to pick up. Okay, I know we've passed through step 1, we've passed through step 2, and now I think we are just in the early innings of step 3. Now, I'm not predicting a market crash or anything. A normal correction in asset prices as it relates to residential real estate and more so on the commercial real estate side. So it's very important to understand how the price of money or the cost of money impacts asset prices, particularly the less liquid of those assets, which tend to be commercial real estate, residential real estate, and the like. Okay, so once again, if you want to read that, type !news, NEWS, in the chat, and then you can read the newsletter and sign up for free. We'll go ahead and check the equity market here for a second. The S&P 500 today declined by 27 points, but we've rallied significantly off the 200-day moving average, which comes in at 4,200. We've rallied to about 4,300, just call it an even 4,400, but we have that declining 50-day moving average coming in right at around 4,400. Let's check out crude oil. Obviously, with all of the atrocities that are going on in the Middle East, We had a little bit of a bump up in crude, with crude oil trading from $81 a barrel all the way up to $87, and now we are back down to $83. So is this a sustained rally in crude oil? Are we going higher from here, or are we going to stay range bound? By the looks of it, if I had to make a prediction, and predictions mean nothing, it's pointless to even make one, I think we're going to stay range bound between $70 a barrel and $90 a barrel, right in that trading range there. I do not buy into the narrative that you're going to see, $130 per barrel crude oil prices again. I think that time has come and passed. But again, that's always up for the debate, and it doesn't mean I am right when I say that. We'll go back over to the CPI report, everybody. Now, an interesting thing that I wanted to point out really quickly in today's consumer price index that was released. Notice the specific categories that are declining the most. Used cars and trucks declined 2.5% in September of 2023 on a year-over-year basis, on a month-over-month basis, and on a 12-month adjusted, right? So year-over-year. Used cars and trucks declined 8%. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we talk about being contrarian a lot on the live stream. And if you remember, even in late 2021 and early 2022, we were seeing all of these crazy articles about how people were bidding up the prices of used vehicles, some of which were even selling for more than what they've paid for them. And a lot of times when you see those euphoric articles about people speculating in the market in any particular asset class, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Beanie Babies, it could be stocks, and it could be used cars and trucks. When you start to see the irrational exuberance and the craziness in the market, that generally, not all the time, but it generally signals to market participants that there's going to be a major turn in that market. And that's exactly what we've seen in the majority of categories as it relates to CPI, right? Particularly used cars and trucks. Now, my biggest concern is this, and you guys already know this, I don't even have to say it, but my biggest concern is this. The three categories that are most important to the average everyday American citizen are as follows. Number 1, food. Number 2, energy. And number 3, shelter. Those are the necessities for life, okay? You got to eat food or you're going to die. You got to have energy, electricity, or you're not going to be able to get to work. You're not going to be able to function. And number 3, you have to have shelter or else you're going to be homeless. And we are already seeing a massive explosion in the homeless population, not only in cities like New York, but across the United States. And the reason why I bring that up is because each one of those individual categories are I'm trying to figure out how I could word this. They're not showing progress as it relates to inflation coming down. Okay, so if you look at the food category, 0.2% month-over-month increase. On a year-over-year increase, food is up 3.7%. Food away from home on a month-over-month basis, it's up 0.1%. On a year-over-year basis, it's up 2.4%. Energy. On a month-over-month basis, energy is up 0.6%. On a year-over-year basis, it's down 3.3%. But shelter costs on a month-over-month basis, shelter is up 0.6%, and on a year-over-year basis, it's up 7.2%. Now, the good news is shelter is probably going to continue to roll over here and decline due to shelter being the more laggard indicator, but it's still a big problem. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and close up the laptop. I want to first and foremost thank everybody for coming out tonight to Walks on Wall Street, and I want to welcome all of our new viewers to Miami, Florida. For those of you who have never been here, I want to give all of you a very warm welcome to Miami. So without further ado, I will close up the laptop, say hello to everybody in the chat, and we will get started walking to Brickell. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Hey, Jafet Perez is here, Danielle, Brian, Mitch by the book is here, George Hernandez, British Gray, Richard Vogel, Larry Van D. All the moderators are in the chat. Good to see everybody. I see Justin S. I see Nakos is here. Thanks for joining us. We are reporting live outside of the 200 Southeast Financial Center. We may start buffering here in a moment because, well, there's a little bit of an internet issue down here. But we're gonna walk across the bridge to Brickell from downtown Miami, and we are gonna check out some of the most notable, particularly the Aston Martin residences, which is almost complete. The lights are on. And I don't know if we're gonna have time, but if we do, we will go all the way back to the one and only 1000 Museum. So Greg Peters is here. What's up? I see Sock, Joseph Hardaway, British Gray, the one and only Western Mass Dave. So obviously, everybody, just real quick, this is brand new. So for the 200 Southeast Financial Center, as we know, the 20th floor is now all owned and operated by Ken Griffin from Citadel Securities. This is going to be their temporary headquarters until they can construct and build their mega super tall tower that's going to be right off of Brickell Avenue, I believe. Hey, Juan Fernandez, what's up? Michelle K, Line Sync, Richard Vogel. It's going to be about an hour live stream tonight. So I guess I'll just sort of cut right to the chase. We all know that the biggest sort of talk of the town, the biggest deal of the day today on Wall Street and on Main Street was the CPI report. Inflation data, inflation ticking up yet again. Now this is important for multiple reasons, and we're going to get into that as the live stream progresses tonight. But what I want to ask everybody is sort of, I want to get all the anecdotes out of the way. And I think focusing on anecdotal data is sometimes important because you get a ground floor view of what actual real people are going through, right? One of my, I would say mentors he's a very successful hedge fund manager. One of the things that he said to me is the following. He's like, in the finance business, we can get so caught up. That's the Metro mover going by. He said in the finance world, the hedge fund business, the investing business, you can get so caught up in looking through spreadsheets, looking through 10Ks, 10Qs, financial filings, income statements, balance sheets, that you forget to sort of pick your head up off the desk and look around you. You know, it's sort of like what Peter Lynch used to say. He's, you know, go to the mall with the wife and kids, right, or the husband and kids. Think about what the kids are doing. What are the new trends that are going on? So I think as it relates to inflation, food, shelter, energy, we have a pretty big audience here on Walks on Wall Street, very diverse, from not only all over the United States, but all over the world. So I want to ask you guys, when you go to the grocery store, are you starting to see improvements, or are prices still going up? When you go to the gas station, are you still getting sticker shock? Has rents come down in your neck of the woods where you are? What are you seeing on the ground floor? And then after I read some of your chats, I'll give you a little bit of sort of what I'm seeing on the ground floor here in New York City and Miami. VLD's prices are picking up. These is slowly still increasing on everything. Wow. Hey Abdullah, what's up? Justin S. is dumb question. When did the Federal Reserve decide on a 2% inflation rate they wanted? Like what year? Well, you know what's even more disturbing? There are some rumblings that the Federal Reserve may change their target inflation rate. So currently the target inflation rate is 2%. That's the Federal Reserve's mandate, it's called. And There is talk that they may change the mandate from 2% maybe to 3%, which I think would just be a gross justification that you sort of failed fighting inflation. That's my take. Deds has had my highest electric bill of all time last month. Wow. What neck of the woods are you in? Elizabeth Gill says, I don't see much change at all. Everything still seems extremely high. John says, food prices and gas prices in New Jersey are still rising. Western Mass Dave says, spotty change. Some things decreased, eggs, but everything is still increasing. So this is the brand new Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. It actually looks pretty busy. It's not super, super busy, but it's almost as if every single table is filled here. So for those of you who don't know, right across the street from the brand new Aston Martin residences, Gordon Ramsay just opened his brand new restaurant called Hell's Kitchen. You have some outdoor dining seating here, but it is a little bit windy, so it seems as if a lot of the patrons are inside. It's good to see that it is pretty busy. Hey, Colton Manning says, Tom, I actually just got gas right before, and gas has gone down 30 cents since we last talked about gas prices. Well, that's some good news. That's some encouraging news. Now, the biggest fear, I see sunshine after rain, good to see you. Fantastic moderator. Now, the biggest fear I have is this heinous and vile and disgusting war that the terrorist scum Hamas waged on Israel. And obviously, as you have I forgot to turn on my do not disturb. And as you have war in the Middle East, well, guess what? You usually have increased oil prices and gas prices, right? So we'll see. We'll see if there's going to be material disruption there. I really don't think so, but I think that's on everybody's mind, in my view. So this is the Aston Martin residences. Wow. You can already start to see the lights on right here. And the balconies actually look pretty good. They've just installed the glass across all those balconies there. Let's see if we can get a little bit better angle as we sort of head past the Joe and the Juice here. Hey, Michelle K says, oh wow, says it's a mixed bag of higher and lower grocery prices in New Jersey. I will say, one of the things about Miami is extremely expensive in terms of groceries down here. Now maybe that's just because I'm talking about downtown Miami. As you head further north, towards North Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Aventura, it does get a little bit less expensive. But I've said this before, in my opinion, the most expensive Whole Foods in America is right across the street here in downtown Miami. It is insanely, insanely expensive. This is Novikov. It's sort of like a bar, grill, nightclub. It's always very busy, and they always have really nice cars outside too. We always have like a really nice valet. Hey, hang with Mark Mom, good to see you. JC says Miami loves Bitcoin. Indeed we do. It's good to see you. Now, for those of you who have never been to Miami, right across the street, this is Brickell Key. Now, Brickell Key is completely detached from not only downtown Miami, but also from Brickell. It's its own private and secluded island. But this is what I'm most excited about, everybody. We are looking at the Aston Martin residences. Look at that. Those balconies are stunning. Now, the higher up you go, particularly all the way at the top, you could see all the way to South Beach and beyond. So imagine the views that you have from some of the top floors of the Aston Martin residences. You could see all the way to downtown Miami, you know, all the way to the Miami Heat Arena, and you could see all the way to South Beach, which is pretty incredible. Now, one of the things I love about Miami is just the cleanliness of the city and the very relaxing vibe. Now, imagine if you live in downtown Miami or Brickell, and after a long day of work, you can just sort of take a stroll or a bike ride along the Miami Riverwalk, take in some of these amazing views. It's one of the things that really sold me on moving down here. So this building that's right in front of us is the W Miami. You know, I wouldn't say I was considering strongly, but I did look at some one-bedroom apartments in the Icon Brickell or the W Tower. But I decided on just a regular home, just because I don't want to pay HOA fees and things like that down here. And this is the Aston Martin residences. As I've explained before, one of the cool things about this building, they're going to have their private dock. So if you purchase a unit in the Aston Martin residences, and let's say you're out boating, you go all the way to the Bahamas, you could literally just park your yacht right here and go right up into your apartment, which is really, really stunning and really unique. It's amazing here. But let's start our walk across the bridge. We will be making our way from downtown Miami all the way over to Brickell, which is going to be the financial district. And if we have time, we'll take a walk by Mary Brickell Village and the Brickell City Center. Nako says it would be pretty cool to live down there. I think it would too. Love is Kind is here. Steph UF, welcome. Yeah, it's really hot in Miami. Even it's all year round. It's pretty hot in Miami for sure. The only thing they don't have on this intersection is a real stoplight. They have these sort of temporary makeshift traffic lights. I'm not sure if they're planning on changing that or not, but I think they probably should. Because once residents start moving into the Aston Martin Tower, I mean, that's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, you think there's a lot of street traffic now with cars. It's probably going to be 10x. Because there's nobody that lives in the residences right now. It's 98% sold out. It's not even finished yet. It's not even done, which is wild. Now, we got some interesting data from mortgage demand. So mortgage demand is at lows not seen since the depths of the great financial crisis. And that kind of makes sense, right? The reason why that makes sense is pretty much exactly what we've been talking about. You have interest rates that have been artificially suppressed for a decade, right? Easy money, liquidity, freely flowing through the marketplace. And now we've had one of the most aggressive quantitative tightening cycles we've seen since Paul Volcker. So as the cost of money, right, as the price of money continues to go up, and the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage has gone from 3% to about 8% as of recording this video, it makes it very, very hard and difficult for people to qualify to get a mortgage. Now, not only that, prices of homes, single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and the like, they haven't really adjusted for the new interest rate environment. And this is something we talked about at the very beginning of this live stream, is that since the real estate market is relatively illiquid in comparison to the equity market, right? Let's actually cross. I'll take you guys on a little bit of a walk down here. Let me actually check the battery. I'll see if we're gonna have time. I think we'll have a little bit of time. Might as well. This is the Epic Hotel and Residences. Now, this place always has some amazing vehicles, some crazy cars. You'll see Bentleys, Rolls Royces, and I'm not really a big car guy, but every time we walk through here, a lot of you comment on some of the vehicles that are parked here. But, it's exactly what we've been talking about. As the cost of capital goes up, sales transactions significantly decline and decelerate. And the next step in that process, if people want to get deals done, is prices have to come down and correct. And this is why in the real estate business, there's always a direct correlation between the amount and the number of real estate agents in the business and interest rates. And usually what happens, and I'm not saying, there's a lot of good realtors out there, like very, very fantastic realtors, but since the barrier to entry is so low for the profession, a lot of the times when you see everybody making, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in real estate, you have people starting to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh my gosh, I could just sell homes for a living and I could make, $500,000 a year. And the people who have that sort of mentality usually get washed out of the business at the turn of a business cycle because they don't understand interest rates. They don't understand how the economy works. So when transaction volumes die, so does their business, right? And they're not well capitalized and well positioned for the market turn. A lot of realtors, when they make the crazy money during bull markets, they spend it all, they don't save it, and they don't invest in their business for the downturn. And it's typical contrarian thinking, right? If you want to get into a new business and become successful, you want to do it when the probability of you generating alpha is going to be very, very high. And when everybody's doing something and when money is easy and you have all of this cheap money, and when everybody jumps on the bandwagon, usually all of the alpha is sucked out of that deal or sucked out of that investment. This is why it's sort of, you kind of got to go against the grain, if you will. When things are tough, that's when you dig your heels in the sand and really build your business and do what's appropriate so you could be first positioned when the market starts to turn. So this is the Riverwalk. You're going to start to see a lot of interesting restaurants all along the line of the river here. Some of these boats are really amazing. I wouldn't even really call them boats. They're kind of like yachts, right? This one has a smaller boat on the back of the bigger boat. Hey, Bree Grahams, what's up? This is Hello Beautiful Humans. I hope you all enjoyed your week so far. I did. I really did enjoy my week so far. I was at the beach today after work. Sunny Isles Beach, which is a little bit further north. I think this is a sushi place here. It's awesome. Imagine having a meal out here and overlooking Brickell in downtown Miami. It's amazing. But for those of you who want a more in-depth look and an in-depth view on today's CPI report, as well as the updated real estate data and equity data, I did send everybody an email. So the newsletter is out. I sent it out at about 9:30 tonight. If you didn't get it, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, the Nightbot is going to drop the link in the chat to the newsletter. Go ahead and click the link, read the newsletter. Those are my updated thoughts in the market. And make sure to subscribe to the newsletter because we are now on a more regular basis. So every other Thursday, you can expect to get an email from me outlining the most recent updates on corporate earnings, the equity market, fixed income, and real estate. So please go there and sign up. This is a pretty cool view of the Bank of America Tower in the distance. We're actually going to walk over this bridge right now. Hey, Bob is here. What's up, Bob? Good to see you. So let's go back out. Let's get on the bridge. It's going to be an amazing view from up there. And then we will walk to Brickell. Hey, NAV0407, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Photos from around New York. Always a pleasure to see you. And it's not too humid out tonight. It's actually like the perfect weather. Now that we're making our way into October and almost even November soon, this is when it's the perfect time to come visit South Florida. A lot of people don't know this, but even in the months of January, February, it can be like 70 degrees here, which feels really, really nice. Hey, Cindy Foley is here. What's up, Cindy? Welcome to downtown Miami. Hey, Andrew Lee is here. Says, what's up from New York City? Good to see you, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to make a left on Southeast 4th Street. We're going to pass the JW Marriott Hotel. And we'll have a pretty good view of the Miami Tower, or the City National Bank building. Hey, Hawaii, what's up? This is Tom. Let's see a Lamborghini SUV. All right, I'll make a bet. I have a prediction that we'll see 2 of them before the stream is over. So I'll keep my eyes peeled. I'll look alive for that. RPT says, Tom, would you consider yourself a snowbird? I wouldn't consider myself a snowbird because of the following reasons. Snowbirds, from what I understand, spend all of their time in New York in the spring and in the summer, but in the winter they come down to South Florida or Miami. I tend to spend about a month, maybe a month and a half in New York, and then 2 to 3 weeks down here in Miami. Now, long term, what I want to do is be able to split my time pretty much 50-50. This is the City National Bank building, or Miami Tower, lit up in blue. Hey, Jerome Powell is in the chat. Very fitting for the CPI number. So we have Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell joining us in the chat. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Can you give us some thoughts on, are you going to raise rates at least one more time before the end of the year, Fed Chair Powell? I think you are. I think you are, Powell. I think you're going to raise rates at least once more before the end of the year. Hey, TB is here. Says, hey, Tom, nice to see you. You were missed. I appreciate that, TB. I missed you guys too. I definitely missed you guys as well. But I will say this. I had to take some time off. And I did. I'm going to be honest. I took about 4 solid days just to hang out around the house, get some housework done, and go to the beach. I needed like 4 days to reset, recharge, and you know, when I go back to New York, as you guys know, I'm putting in like 80-hour weeks. So I got to recharge the batteries from time to time, folks. But it's good to be back. You know, I love doing the live stream for all of you guys, and it's one of my highlights of my day. So this is where we were just walking. This is in more of an aerial perspective. You can see all of the cabanas here, people eating at all the restaurants. Yeah, Chinook wins is the wild card. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to predict interest rates, but I'm definitely in the camp that rates are going to be held higher for longer. I don't think the Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rates anytime soon. I think the market needs to adjust to this new paradigm of higher for longer. But it's not, you know, it's not all bad news, guys. It's not all bad news. And I wrote about this today in the newsletter. Please go read it and sign up if you haven't signed up already. But I wrote about why this isn't all bad news. When you watch CNN, when you watch Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, they're all going to say, oh, higher interest rates is going to crush the economy and it's bad for consumers and it's bad for Americans. It's actually fake news in my opinion. It's not normal to have interest rates be artificially suppressed for decades. That's not normal. You need to let the free market do its work, and you need to let interest rates normalize for the following reason. Now, when my grandparents were my age and in their prime working ages, they could get rich simply by working a job and being very diligent in saving their money because they could make a real rate of return in interest. You can't say the same post the financial crisis, right? You were getting paid negative interest, factoring in interest rates. So savers are finally being rewarded yet again in this country. And I think that's a really good thing. Take a look at the yield curve right now, everybody. Take a look at US Treasuries, right? A 6-month T-bill is yielding well over 5.5%, right? A 30-year is almost 5%. So it's normal to have savers being rewarded for doing the right thing, because that's how you grow an economy, right? Regardless of what, you know, the modern monetary theorists will tell you, the appropriate way to grow an economy is through appropriate and sufficient savings for investment, right? When you have sufficient savings, you can then make investments in businesses, and that's how the game is sort of played the fair way. What hasn't been fair since the great financial crisis is all of this cheap money. That's not fair. It's called crony capitalism. And the reason why I deem it crony capitalism is for the following reasons. Is because people like me and you, we don't have access to that cheap money. We're blocked out. You can't play the game, pal. Sorry. It's all of the corporations, it's all of the politicians that have access to unlimited amount of cheap money that they can use to buy back their own stock, right? So if you're, you know, a CEO of a company and you could borrow money in perpetuity forever at negative interest rates or pretty much zero money, factoring in inflation, and then go buy billions and billions of dollars worth of your own stock to push up the price, well, I mean, think about how a lot of CEOs, corporations, and C-suites are paid, right? They're paid via stock options. They have very, very low basic salaries, right? You'll maybe have like a $400,000 to $500,000 base salary, but you'll make millions and millions and millions in stock options, right? So, you know, the game, the money game, has really been skewed in favor of the wealthy elite and the corporate elite. It's essentially corporate socialism that we've been living under. It's not capitalism, it's crony capitalism we've been living under. And the world, the globalists, have been blaming free market, laissez-faire capitalism on all of the negative things that are going on in the world. But all of the negative things that have been going on in the world is not due to capitalism. Capitalism would solve those things. The problem is crony capitalism, the Federal Reserve, easy money, and corporate socialism. That's the problem. So we're finally getting back on track to where rates are going up. The average American citizen, if they're saving money in an interest-bearing account or buying US Treasuries, you're going to be rewarded for those savings, and you're not going to be punished for those savings. So, in my opinion, I think this is good. I think let rates normalize. You don't have to have easy money all the time, and I think it's appropriate. All right, more importantly, everybody, this is the brand new Aston Martin Residences. It looks absolutely fantastic here. And I'm so excited and I'm so happy that the lights are finally turning on here at the Aston Martin building. Now, if you see this sort of little, I don't know, sky dome that's sticking off the side, that's actually the infinity pool. So they have a pool on the top of the residences. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. This is the W Hotel and Residences. The hotel entrance is here. The residence's entrance is right there. But for the sake of this video, we are going to make a right as we are walking down Brickell Avenue, and we are going to explore the Brickell City Center, which is like an outdoor, indoor type mall, which is very nice. Oh, look at this dog. I think those types of dogs are Korean. I think they're Korean dogs, right? I don't know the exact breed name, but I believe they are a Korean breed. They look really nice. All right, let's cross here. Does anybody know what kind of breed that is? I'm curious. It's gonna have, my mind's gonna be racing on that all night. Ooh, this is an even better shot of the Aston Martin building, guys. Look at that. Miami looks like a futuristic city. It's really amazing. Hey, Stephen Bates here, Brendan O'Brien, welcome. Good to see you. John Wolf, good to see you. Blues writer, God bless. Thanks for joining us. So this is Southeast 5th Street. And if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams almost every day between New York City and Miami. A white Samoyed is the name of the dog. I'm probably pronouncing that horribly wrong, but it's all right. So here you have the Bank of America Tower. I really do like this church. This is an original Presbyterian church. The architecture is amazing, but now we're in the financial district. You have the Bank of America Tower here, you have Truist Financial, and then coming soon, ladies and gentlemen, to Brickell Avenue here in Brickell is the brand new Citadel Securities mega tall tower, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited to see the transformation of the Miami skyline in real time. Ah, yeah, Mr. Hernandez, you're right. The Panorama Tower is the tallest residential apartment tower in Miami. Now, I think that's over to the left here, down on Brickell Avenue. And I believe that the new, not Aston Martin, excuse me, the new Waldorf Astoria Tower is going to be over 1,000 feet tall. So that's going to be the tallest building south of the World Trade Center. It's pretty amazing. It's coming soon here to Miami. Hey, Meld is here. What's up? This is Good Evening, Tom and Team. What's up, Meld? Thanks for joining us. All right, let's see if we can make a right here. And then we'll make another left. And this will bring us to the heart of the Brickell City Center. You can see the Metro Mover going by. See, here in Miami, we don't have a subway for obvious reasons. We have the Metro Mover, which is an above-ground transportation system. That's true. Juan Hernandez is a lot of the construction projects are being halted. Yeah, I mean, think about, we've been talking about the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage for a residential property being almost at 8% now. Think about what a construction loan is going for now. Think about that. Some construction loans are probably double digits, which is wild. So it's a good point. Money is expensive. And also, by the way, banks are getting a lot tighter with their lending standards. So you make a really good point. All right, this is going to be the site for One Brickell City Center. So if you see this building, that's going to be totally torn down. However, there was a major demolition disaster that went on about 3 weeks ago right here. They tried to demo this building and some of the concrete rained down on the street on the other side. So I think the mayor of Miami and some of the regulators are launching an investigation onto what exactly happened with that. And until whatever they need to do to fix that, the demolition is going to be halted. Did anybody see that video? The video was crazy. The video was insane. There was cars going by, there was people walking on the sidewalk, and you have this massive piece of concrete falling out of the sky, nearly killing people. It was just an egregious scenario that happened. All right, so here is the Brickell City Center, which is an indoor/outdoor mall. The shops at Brickell City Center, I think it's getting ready to close down for the night. But you have a lot of high-end places in here. You have Suit Supply, I think you have Coach, pretty much everything you can imagine. Sephora's here. But as we make this left, it's going to be on South Miami Avenue. You're going to see a lot of restaurants, shops, a lot of nightlife places are going to be right down here to the left. tower in the distance is the SLS Lux Tower. You have the KPMG building and the WeWork. And we're also going to pass the Lucid Motors. Now we're going to pass the Apple Store here, and that reminds me of something. Did anybody see the new IRS settlement or the IRS claim that Microsoft owes? What is the exact amount, everybody? Microsoft owes over $1 billion in back taxes. That's gotta hurt. Imagine getting hit with that tax bill. So this is the Henry. This is one of the newest indoor/outdoor dining establishments in Brickell. I can actually feel the air conditioning even when I walk inside here. And this is still technically outside. I think they did a really good job with the outdoor dining here. And everything is so clean, everything is like spotless. It's amazing. That's one of the things I was so impressed with, not only downtown Miami, but Brickell. Everything is so clean and so safe. It's definitely a big contrast. All right, let's continue to walk down past the Lucid Motors. Blues Writer, my God, dude. Blues Writer, I'm not going to read your comment, but no comment. That's what I'll say. I think Blues Writer may be thinking 2 steps ahead. So another interesting piece of CRE, commercial real estate news here in Miami, is right across the street. Now, apparently, for all of those native Miamians in the chat, this Burger King has been here forever, quite literally forever. I believe it just sold, and in its place is going to be another super tall, massive tower. Hopefully similar to the ones that you see right in front of us. This is the SLS Lux Design Towers. These are my favorite buildings in all of Brickell. And the amenities in these apartment condos are amazing. You have swimming pools, you have tennis courts, pickleball courts, pretty much anything you could want and imagine they have in the majority of these luxury condos down here. I'm still keeping my eye out for Hawaii's Lambo truck. All right, now the real question and the real debate in the chat: Lucid Motors or Tesla? Lucid Motors or Tesla? What do you guys think? I think I'm still a Tesla guy. I love Tesla, and I want to get a Tesla Model X. That's my goal. Now, not anytime soon, but maybe in the next 5 years, I'll get a Tesla Model X. I'll wait till the prices come down. Elon Musk has been cutting the prices like crazy. Ah, Roberts is Rivian? Okay. So you're on team Jeff Bezos. All right. Look, I'd be open to either or. However, I mean, just Teslas are so cool. And just amazing, amazing vehicles. I think the EV takeover is here. The vast majority of cars that are going to be sold in this country over the next 5 to 10 years are going to be EVs. And I think the ruler and the leader and the dominant party in this EV revolution is going to be Tesla. That's my opinion. Now, first mover advantage doesn't necessarily mean that is what's going to win out forever. Usually quite the opposite, right? It's usually first mover advantage, and then you have a lot of competition coming into the marketplace. So we'll see. But for now, I'm still with Elon. Okay, so this is sort of the main, I would say, nightlife area of Brickell. We'll cross here by the Chipotle. Chipotle just announced that they're raising prices for the third time this year. So food inflation is raging. As we've discussed before, food inflation is going to continue to rage across the United States, unfortunately. This is Moxie's. We'll make a left here. So this is Mary Brickell Village, which I think is going to be torn down over the next 2 years, maybe. And in its place, they're going to build mega tall skyscrapers. So everything you see here in the low rise, like the steakhouse, the Italian spot, and Berkshire Hathaway and FedEx across the street, supposedly this is all going to be taken down and totally redeveloped. But everybody, we are up against time. Unfortunately, I could only stream 1 hour tonight because I have to do a lot of work very early in the morning. So if you enjoyed this live stream of Brickell and downtown Miami, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. And also, for those of you who didn't get the newsletter, please check your email. I sent you all an email of the Behind the Street newsletter. And if you want to sign up for our free financial newsletter, if you type !news, N-E-W-S in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the sign up for the newsletter where you can sign up for free. This is going to be released every other Thursday around 7 o'clock at night, where we cover US equities, global equities, fixed income, and real estate. So if you want to sign up for that, please feel free to do so. And we will see you all tomorrow live from Brickell. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow. So Chinook wins, appreciate it. Steph UF, Abdullah, Laytha, all of our moderators, Ryan, New York, Meld. Stay safe, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful Friday night.